Welcome to the Event Connection, where we explore the stories, trends, and unforgettable moments that are shaping our industry. We'll uncover the human side of events and celebrate the power of engagement and connection, all while having a little fun. This podcast is produced by PC NAMETAG.
Welcome to the first episode of The Event Connection. This is our new podcast. We're excited to bring episodes monthly. We're going to talk about a lot of different event planning topics, trends and meeting planning, conference planning, tech trends, all sorts of stuff that you guys will like. So make sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. And today, we're going to introduce ourselves quick, but we're going to be talking about some trends for 2025 because as of now, it's still January. Who knows what time it'll be when you're listening to this, but yeah, so we're going to talk about trends that we're going to leave in 2024 and trends that we're going to bring with us to 2025. I'm going to be more of the moderator role because these ladies know a lot more about event planning than I do. They're kind of very ingrained in the day-to-day ins and outs of event planning. So I have a list of event trends here and we'll see what they think. But to introduce ourselves, I'm Brooke. I am on the marketing team for PC NAMETAG. I'm kind of more behind the scenes, but if you see any of our emails or social media ads, that's me, unfortunately.
Lots of words.
Sorry about that. But yeah, go ahead, Meaghan. Oh, we have two Meaghans also, so that might get a little bit confusing. So I might refer them as Blue Meaghan and Green Meaghan. But Blue Meaghan, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes. My name is Meaghan. I am in the sales team. I've been with PC NAMETAG for almost 15 years. I work with our customers to process orders. I meet customers at trade shows, work on partnerships, really kind of be the go-to for some of our top customers.
Awesome.
And I am also Meaghan with an H, so a little bit different than Meaghan. But I am the marketing communications specialist at PC NAMETAG, and I do a lot of the content marketing strategy that we do here. If you are subscribed to our company blog, the Tag Talk blog, I'm the one behind that, as well as the Tag Talk newsletters and other organic social media posts.
Awesome. All right. So we're going to kind of engage in some wild speculation about some event trends, but I think it's going to be fun. We have some of them are like newer trends, I would say, that are like maybe came up in the last year or so, but some of them have been around for a long time. So I'm excited to see what you guys think. So for each one, you're going to tell me, are you bringing it in 2025 or leaving it in 2024? So
okay, I'm excited.
Let's go.
Yes. The first one is educational sessions that are 45 minutes or longer. Blue Meaghan, do you want to go first?
Yeah, I'm going to bring it. I feel like the longer the timeline, the better the content. I feel like some of those shorter ones, I don't get as deep of a dive. So I want the longer, I'm there to be educated, right? Like I want to learn the deep kind of ins and the outs. I want that longer session to really get the full value from it. So I think I'm going to absolutely bring it.
For sure. Okay. Okay. What do you think?
I might leave it, but with an asterisk on the end. I think it depends what the event format is, because if it's an online event where you only have a short amount of time to get as many sessions in as possible, I might keep it to maybe a 20-minute session with 10 minutes for Q&A. But I also agree with you if it's more of like a multi-day conference. I also like being able to go on deep dives with specific topics. So I would say think about what you want to accomplish with your event and how much time do you have and how much attention span can you keep with your attendees.
Yeah, I think that's big too, right? Because there's so many other things that you probably have that people want to get to, all the little like snacks and all the different things between their sessions too. But I kind of,
depends on the length too, right? Like day 3. Oh no.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I gotta get going here.
Short sessions on day 3. Yeah. I have like a small story. I said I'd bring a couple personal experiences. I went to a marketing conference that I will not name, although it might be a little obvious. A large marketing conference where most sessions are like 45 minutes, pretty much all of them are. And then they have the deep dive sessions that are hour and a half. And like all of the deep dive sessions eventually turn into either a sales pitch or like some kind of like let's all get together and do some sort of group activity. And like at least at this conference, people did not like that.
No, not about it.
Yeah, no. And one of them that I went to, it was like 15 minutes in, the presenter had like gone through her slides and she was like, okay, now everybody get into groups of like 5 to 10. And I cannot tell you, like 75% of the room like grabbed their backpacks and like booked in.
No way.
So it's like then you lost the attendees that you thought you had. So.
Yeah. I stayed because I felt bad, but it was not after that I was like, I don't want to be here, but I feel weird leaving. So keep in mind that maybe your attendees don't really want to engage in a group activity or a sales pitch, because that always gets old too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So we're a little split on that one, but I think I like a long session if it's helpful.
Yeah.
The next one, this one's a little bit vague, but I know you guys both have probably pretty good ideas for this, but gamifying networking and engagement. I'll start with Green Meaghan.
All right. I'm all about gamification. I talk with a lot of the Tag Talk subscribers, and gamification seems to be like a huge thing that going into 2025. So I'm going to say take it into 2025. So I think there's a lot of different ways that you can incorporate gamification into the event planning process, and it doesn't have to necessarily break the budget. You can do, gamification on a budget. Like I've seen PC NAMETAG customers have like a bingo card on the back of their event badges. And the cool thing is, especially if you're a nonprofit, you can sell spaces on the bingo card. So put sponsor logos on the bingo card and sell those spaces, have them be a part of your sponsorship package, or have a badge ribbon scavenger hunt. Badge ribbons don't, cost too much, and you can have it be completely custom to your event or your slogan, or have your logo printed on it. So you can get really creative with it and not break the bank. So I would say take it into 2025 for sure.
Well, I would absolutely take it. I'm in sales, so I'm competitive, so I want to win something.
For sure.
I'm there for the meat, right? And I think it's interesting that you took like the sales almost side of it, because like with the what you've seen and like the different badges, because I was looking at it from like the marketing perspective, which I think it's a great way to figure out who your champions are too, right? Like I feel like those people that are engaging with the content, they're engaging with other, attendees at the event, like they're feeling it, they're involved. So it's almost like the champions for your event as well as maybe your brand. I think it's a great way to kind of find and really build your tribe.
For sure.
Grow it that way.
Yeah. I know too, like at this conference that I went to, they had the like click badges, which were really cool because they had different rewards you could get for like how many people you had like click badges with. So it kind of gets people more excited about networking and talking to each other and going up to your event sponsors on the trade show floor and stuff too. So I like that kind of stuff for sure. Okay. We're definitely bringing gamification. Next one is a little bit more niche. Panels on stage as a session. So a panel versus like one person giving a presentation.
Curious on your thoughts.
Yeah.
For this one,
you
Meaghan.
go first.
I'm saying no, thank you. I'm gonna leave it. They're just, I think there's some that are really interesting, and I think there's some cool things, but I don't know that I've ever walked away from a panel feeling totally fulfilled and like I really took something away from that. So I think I would leave it. I don't quite see the value, and maybe I'm not in the right space, right? So maybe I'm not their target market.
Right.
But I just would leave it. Yeah.
I would also say maybe leave it. I know me personally, I like when sessions have more of structure to it. So if you have a presentation that people can have more of like a visual element with it. I know I personally prefer that. Maybe not all of your attendees prefer that, but I would also agree with you, Meaghan. I feel like sometimes when panels are open and there's not a lot of structure to it, you kind of don't have a direction of how you want the session to go. So another thing, I also attended the marketing conference that Brooke was speaking about earlier. And you also have to keep in mind the actual setting that the panel is in. If it's a loud environment, sometimes it can be kind of hard to hear the panelists. So I would say if you're going to have a panel where there's definitely, spots for that you can bring that into 2025 if you want, maybe keep it time bound and have more structure to it.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree with you too. I feel like any panel that I've gone to, I don't know that I've ever really taken notes. Like I'm kind of just like, it's a nice vibe, but I feel like panels are good if the purpose is entertainment. Like if you have like at a convention and you're seeing like celebrities, then panel is great because you're like there to hear what they have to say. But if it's just a bunch of like industry experts, it's not as exciting, I guess. So
maybe more focus on like structured Q&A at the end. Let the audience kind of drive the questions.
That's a good point.
I agree. All right, we're leaving panels. That sounds good to me. Okay, this one's a little bit more like near and dear to us. Expedited. I'm referring to it as expedited badge delivery, but basically like more unique ways of badge delivery. So mailing badges, picking them up at the airport, hotel pickup, versus picking them up on site at your event. What's your take?
Bringing it.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm going to bring it. I think stopping at registration is just one more thing, right? So to have it all ready at the airport, like you said, I think is key. I don't know how I feel about prior to that because then I'm expected to remember it. And I have a lot of shoes to remember. Like, I've got a lot of things to think about.
Yeah, that's true. Like mailing is...
Yeah.
I'd forget it, to be honest.
Same. And then what? Like, then you have that panic of, oh, I forgot that. But I like the idea of picking it up at the airport. I think I had that at one event, kind of maybe like right after COVID, you know, it was pickup, kind of trying to save like the touch points.
Yeah.
And I think that was really nice just because then I was done. I could get there. I could set up my booth. I didn't have to stop at registration. I think it has some really good kind of key points to it.
For sure.
Yeah. You're bringing up some interesting points.
Okay.
I might say leave it.
Ooh.
Just because I'm kind of a worrier when it comes to events. Like, I want to make sure I show up on time, get to registration. I personally like the traditional process of, you know, going up to the registration booth and getting my badge and, you know, going and picking out my lanyard. So I kind of like that. But I would probably go off of what you said. And if you're going to give someone the badge beforehand, I might kind of incorporate it with, you know, like a welcome box or like a themed first time attendee box. So I kind of like giving them the badge beforehand, but maybe making it like a fun engagement activity.
An experience.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think I agree. I feel like I would, even if I picked it up at the airport or the hotel, I'd still be worried that I'd forget it on the first day of the event. And
that would be me.
Walk back to my hotel. So I do kind of like picking it up on the first day because it kind of feels part of just the experience of it, but like only if it's like expedited and quick. Like standing in line for half an hour, like nobody wants to do that. But
so maybe that's an interesting point, right? Because like I'm thinking about it more from an exhibitor perspective,
right,
versus an attendee perspective. So it could be depending on
that's fair,
your attendee type.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I'm thinking of it more from an attendee perspective. Yeah, but yeah, I've also seen where you can go pick your badge up at the venue like the day before the event actually starts, which is kind of nice too.
It is kind of nice because then you cut down on registration lines, or if you are a worrier like me, it's like, okay, I already have my badge. I don't have to worry about it. I can just go straight into the venue.
Yeah, for sure. You know, like exactly when you need to be there, like when the first session starts, not having to like accommodate for how long it'll take you. Yeah, I agree. All right, so that one's more bringing it, sounds like, in various different formats. This one is a little bit general and broad. I know we used to talk about virtual events a lot during the COVID days, but to this day, virtual events, do you think, are we continuing to bring it into 2025, or are we leaving virtual events in the dust?
Interesting. I think for me, it depends, because if it's a multi-day conference, I feel like I'm more engaged if I'm live and in person on the ground at the event. But I also have attended a lot of marketing related, you know, conferences that were online, and I wouldn't have been able to attend them unless there was an online element. So I would probably consider the length and the format of the virtual event, and if virtual makes sense for the event. So if you want to keep it short and simple, maybe a virtual event or a virtual element of your event makes sense if it's, you know, a quick 2-hour, you know, conference with, you know, multiple little sessions that people can dial into. So I'm going to say take it.
Okay. I like it.
I would probably bring it as well. I think there's some great pieces and components to the virtual event. I think there's some definite negatives as well. I mean, you get distracted, you start doing something, you go back to work. But for the most part, I think it's a great place where, like you said, like if you normally couldn't come, or maybe it's not in the budget that year, you know, but you can afford the virtual option. You know, I think there's some great pieces to the virtual event. I don't ever feel like it's as rich as being there. I think obviously we all know, especially in this industry, that in person is so much more just rewarding, positive, kind of all those things. But I think from an attendee's perspective, if that's the only option, I think it's great to have that option.
Yeah, for sure.
It's hard too, because I understand the portion as far as budget, right? Like it's a second event, especially. So I don't know. I think I would take it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes budget. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of companies, like you have budget to attend like one professional development event, like in person. And so it's nice to have other options. And I know, like, at least from our perspective, like it really, I think, depends on like who's doing it and how they're doing it too. Cause I feel like Guru Events like has kind of set the standard like so high, and they do have like a multi-day virtual conference, and they have like all of these different unique ways to keep people engaged. And they say like there's not going to be on demand, because I think that's a huge issue for planners when they're planning a virtual event is people will sign up, especially if it's free, and then they like just won't show up.
Sure.
And so they say up front, like, there's not going to be on demand, or like we will offer on demand, but only if you tune in for like at least 2 hours or something. But then they'll have like hot wing eating challenges and like TikTok dance like tutorials and like all this stuff in between sessions, and all the sessions are like very planned out and I think like pre-recorded, and so it goes very smoothly. There's not like tech issues. They have a DJ, DJ Graffiti. Shout out.
You're awesome. We love you.
Not sponsored, but we love DJ Graffiti. But yeah, he'll do kind of like before the show, he'll play like 90s R&B music and stuff, and it's just very fun. But yeah, I think it really depends on like the platform you're using and like how organized it is and what kind of people you have involved, for sure. Because I've been to some boring virtual events, and
then you log off early because it wasn't engaging.
Yeah, for sure. Whereas like with a Guru event, I'm blocking my schedule for those days because I'm
no
in it. Fully involved. So yeah, I think it depends on a lot of things, but yeah, I think there's still a spot for virtual events for sure. This one is very unique. So Meaghan and I came across this. Sponsored restrooms. So having a sponsor for your communal restroom.
Okay.
Megan's like, oh my gosh, what is this?
I'm trying to like.
Yeah, so we have seen, I think I saw it in one of Julia Solaris's newsletters. And it was, I can't remember what the company was. I feel like it was like a destination or something, like sponsored. I think you're right. Yeah, like I can't remember what it was. But yeah, so like the whole outside of the restroom was like decked out in like marketing for this destination or whatever it was. And the inside too had like little like trinkets and stuff.
Cute.
Yeah.
There's like signage and stuff in there.
Right. Yeah. We can go with you first since you have had more time.
I feel like, what the heck is this? I will say I have never heard of that before. So when you showed me the picture, I was like, wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Definitely cool. So maybe I need to like think about my answer as I talk about this. But I feel like there could be a place for it, because it's like, people are using the restrooms. If they're going to be in there and using it, why waste the space? But I'm also wondering if you should be like specific about who the sponsor is in the bathroom, just to make sure that it makes sense. And are you doing the same sponsor in both restrooms? Are you doing it in the gender inclusive bathroom? So I'm a little undecided on this. I'm going to say maybe take it into 2025 if you have a strategy around it, or maybe make it like an interactive experience, like people can, take home a sample or take home a goodie bag in the bathroom. So you really want to make sure that if you have, a sponsor in there, it's like they're getting value out of their exposure.
Right. Because like the last thing I'd want as like a marketer is like my brand being associated with like people, like maybe the continental breakfast didn't sit right. Like I don't want people like looking at my branding as they're like having a rough time in the restroom. So that was my first thought. I was like, oh, I don't know if I would want my brand affiliated with that. But but I do, like, especially like if you're I don't know, like at a hospitality conference and maybe there's a company that like sells toiletries, like that kind of makes sense a little bit more.
But
definitely. Yeah.
We could do like a gamification for how many times you wash your hands.
Yeah, there you go.
That'd be fun.
We love hygiene.
Wash for a minute. That's important these days. So yeah.
Cool. I like that. With no background knowledge. What do you think?
I think I'm gonna leave it. It's different. Like you said, like
Yeah.
it's just a weird spot for your branding. I could see like if you have like the Kleenex in there or like maybe toothpaste or something like that has your logo on it, sure. But like at the same point in time, like it's still a public restroom. So I just can't get past the like want to grab one and be excited about it.
Yeah,
I think there's other ways to go about having those pieces somewhere or like
for sure.
different.
For
I like
sure.
that. Little
Different.
split opinions here.
Yeah.
I like it.
Especially like a convention center bathroom, I feel like. Like it'd be
Yeah,
different if it
that's
was like
true.
a hotel because it's a little bit more like
Yeah, like
nice.
suave.
Yeah.
Yeah. But a convention center, I don't know about that.
Like, are you getting a sales pitch while you're in there? Like,
I don't know. That's a good question while you're waiting in line. It's always like the women's restrooms too, where you have to like wait and like, yeah. That's well, okay. So we're split on this one. Depends on how you do it.
Yeah.
This is a fairly a simple one that I kind of think about a lot. Wearing business attire. Like at.
You want to go first, Megan?
Yeah, I would say leave it. I think what was that new, like the new one, smart casual?
Yeah.
I think is kind of the key, right? Like be comfortable. I mean, there's nothing worse than an uncomfortable pair of shoes and an uncomfortable pair of pants. Like you're grouchy, you're annoyed, you're not focused.
Yeah.
I think to let your attendees be who they feel like they are and want to be, and just let them. I mean, no sweatpants, so like there's things, but like
standards,
smart casual,
Yeah.
Like, just be comfortable so you can really focus on what you're there to do, which is learn and be part of something.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. There's like a lot of walking involved in a lot of these. So shoes especially.
Shoes
I
are
think.
key.
But yeah, like jeans and a nice shirt. That's I agree.
Yeah.
What about you, Megan?
I'm going to agree with you on that. I think it's really important to be comfortable. And if you think of more, traditionally feminine outfits, we're the ones tending to wear, high heels, whereas men might be, more likely to wear more comfortable dress shoes. So I think it's kind of like leveling the playing field a little bit.
Yeah.
If everyone's allowed to wear jeans or, just wear what makes you feel comfortable and confident. And I'm seeing, like cute dresses kind of being a part of like the new look at conferences. So I'm going to say wear what makes you feel confident, especially if you're, not as confident with networking. If you can wear something that you feel really comfortable and confident in and that will help you make more connections, I would say go for that.
Yeah, for sure. And if you're comfortable in a full business suit, then
Great.
you do you.
Yeah, exactly.
You probably look fantastic.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like I've been to like that marketing conference that we have talked about. People are dressed like in all different ways for sure. So like you'll walk by someone in a full business suit and then someone like wearing sweatpants, and I don't even really think twice about it. Like I'm like, oh, whatever.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Works for you guys. So, and I kind of like that. I think personal expression is important.
Absolutely.
This is an idea actually that Megan brought up. Mealtime networking. I know you've had some kind of like fun,
I like this one.
Yeah, interesting experience with that.
Okay, I can go first then.
Yeah.
So I went to this conference called the Content Marketing World last year, and something really cool that they did which by the way, this is super budget friendly. If you want to, get people talking at lunch, a really cool idea that you can do is have topic tables. And you can either have the topics related to your event or your industry, or just keep it kind of open. So I'll give some examples. So for Content Marketing World, I was traveling alone. So I wasn't, with anybody that I would traditionally want to sit with at lunch. So it's kind of scary, especially as someone who's a little bit more of an introvert, to go up to a table full of people, you don't know anybody, and kind of having that awkward conversation of, hey, can I sit here? So something you got to do, but you can make it a little bit easier if you have these topic tables. So at Content Marketing World, they had a table for podcasting. They had a table for like yoga enthusiasts or pet lovers, music lovers. So then, when you sit at the table, you're already surrounded with people who have commonality with you. So I tried to like switch it up with the different days and the different topics that I sat with. But all you have to do is have a signage in the middle of the table, have the topic printed on it. And I think it was a big success there. So I would love to see that at more conferences.
I think that's super fun. I feel like you had another experience where you had like a cup, like you got coffee cups that were like a certain color based on your interests.
That's another good idea. So if you have coffee cups at your conference, you can have sleeves that are, personalized with different topics. So, and you can color code them too if you want more of like a visual representation. So that's another way to get people talking with each other, especially when it's early in the morning. People are just kind of waking up, and so it's a fun way to, kick off your day and get people chatting with each other.
For sure. I love that. So you're bringing in mealtime networking.
I'm going to say so.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds fun. I like that. I haven't seen that until like you're just ready to sit down at a table because you just want to eat and you get like
Right, exactly.
something you can't connect with. But yeah, maybe that's a good thing too, because then you're connecting with somebody different. Because I was going to say leave it because, I'm always trying to like shove food in my mouth and then you're talking and there's like potato salad spilling. Like, or somebody's watching you so you can never drink right. So I'm always just like, I mean, it's kind of the introvert style too, right? Yeah.
I have a story when you're done with that.
You're kind of, it's nerve-wracking and like add food in there. It's just kind of that awkwardness. So I was going to say leave it. I guess I'll say leave it.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah.
I just remembered, you just awoke a memory in me. So at this same conference that I was at, they had a topic table that said introverts, and people were sitting at it, but none of them were talking.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, this is so fitting.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe maybe it's not a bad thing if you have an introverts table. Maybe people don't want to talk with each other and they just want a silent lunch. So maybe that could be a topic. Let's just
talk about
sit and look at each other.
Yeah.
Silent lunch.
Silence.
Fair enough. Yeah.
I think to have an opportunity for everyone, I think is key. Because sometimes you're just, especially in day 3, right? Like you're just ready to be quiet for a minute and absorb.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
That
On
is
that
totally
last
fair
day.
though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you just need some like quiet refocus time.
Yeah.
Like put in your AirPods and just like
Yeah.
be like, please leave me alone. For sure. I feel like there should be like a table of solitude.
Yeah.
Either way.
I like
for
that.
sure.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
It's very inclusive.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, the next one is generally, badge ribbons in general.
Oh, heck yeah. We love those. We might be a little biased here at PC Name Tag. We love our badge ribbons. I'm going to say take it into 2025, 2026, 2027.
Yeah.
The rest of event history, I will take badge ribbons. One, I love that they're made out of sustainable materials. They're made from a biodegradable material, so that's really cool. So you don't have to feel bad about, making extra waste for your events. But I also like that they're completely customizable. So you can have, your event hashtag or your logo on it, or even if you just want to keep it simple with like first time attendee, that's a really great visual way to say, hey, that person has not been here before. Like, let's connect. So I like the idea of having them as like an icebreaker, and they're super affordable. So I know people get really excited when they go up to the event reg area and there's a badge ribbon wall that people can pick and choose what best suits them. So I'm going to say definitely take it in
For sure.
2025.
Yeah. I think that there's like some stigma amongst planners who maybe don't love ribbons all the time, but I think attendees really love ribbons. And that's what's important, right?
Plus, if I have a badge that has ribbons on it, I'm way less likely to toss it in the trash afterwards. I want to keep it as a memento.
Yeah, that's very true. What's your take on it?
Well, I like my job, so I'm going to say I'm taking it.
By all the ribbons.
By all the ribbons. I would say take it either way. So I always I joke with my customers because I work more with like our meeting management customers, and I always say planners hate ribbons, but attendees love ribbons. Like that's really the only way they can bring their personality out. So it's kind of similar to that dress, right? Like you can relate to your badge ribbon. You can put something silly on it. You can put a fun title. If you're more serious, you can put president or, CEO, whatever that may be. I think it's just a good way to bring personality to that badge and just make that person feel a little bit extra special.
Yeah.
Plus, it's also just a great way to connect with someone. Like our pet fun pack is my favorite.
Yeah.
I feel like that gets so many people talking and just gets people to connect because we all love our pets. So it's just a great way to just drive that connection, especially for introverts like myself.
Yeah. Yeah. Me too.
We start talking about our pets and we're like extrovert as can be, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a good conversation topic. Yeah.
Our customizer tool online makes it so much easier to make them now. So it's not really as difficult as you might think it is to get an order in with us.
Yeah. And we've seen cons specifically, I feel like are gung-ho for ribbons. And I think like more corporate events can kind of take that same like level of enthusiasm that people who go to cons have for ribbons and expressing their personality, because customers will make 100 ribbons for like a TV show that they really love, and then they'll go and they'll try to find people who also like that show and they'll trade ribbons. And some people have, we look at Dragon Con as like the main one, but they have ribbon stacks that go from like floor 8 of their hotel all the way to the ground. It's insane.
Crazy.
So I don't know if it would get to that level at like a corporate conference, but
That'd be wild.
But I think it is a fun way to kind of bring some personality to your event. And yeah, I know planners may find them frustrating, but we love ribbons.
Love 'em.
Yeah. I'm gonna skip one because I'm kind of curious what you're actually. I know that you have a story about this specifically. So this is like a specific thing, but it's like a more general one. So pickleball or other health related activities at your events. But I know pickleball's been big and that you have a pickleball story. So I wanted to hear.
Oh, I'm
I'm
excited.
I do. I love it. I think it's hilarious. I think it's fun. I mean, it was scary at first. So we went to the Northwest Event Show, and we're great partners with Choose to Rent, and their group of guys was there, and we went and played with them. And it was really intimidating at first because I'm like, I'm gonna suck. Guys.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't gonna be pretty. Like, I'm not here to do well, but we're gonna do this. And he's like, it's all good. I'm like, okay. So Anthony had me, and it was like hilarious and so much fun. I mean, it was a different trade show, it was a different vibe. I mean, we did there's a rave pickle rave pickle.
Yeah.
I can never
Pickle
remember.
rave.
the
Wow.
rave, yeah. But it was a whole, it's just something different. It was enjoyable. Like, Kendra, Jess, and I took away some great memories and some great images, from the whole event. But it was just something different, and it brought us together with our partners in such a different manner. And like, now I see those guys, and I just feel so much more connected to them.
Yeah, that's true.
Great memory.
Yeah. Something about like playing a sport that you like never played before with someone really brings you together.
It lets your walls
Yeah.
down a little bit more, and you get to know that person at a different level.
For sure. I like that.
Yeah. I'm going to agree with Meaghan. I'm going to say take it into 2025. I believe it was pickleball at the Connect Marketplace, Milwaukee, and people were having a lot of fun with it. Another interesting thing they had at that event was there was like a skateboarding ramp, and they just had this like professional skateboarder doing tricks, and that was a cool thing to watch.
Cool.
So it's not specifically health related, but I like that planners are getting more creative with different types of wellness activities. I've seen yoga in the morning. I've seen running groups in the morning. I've seen golf tournaments. So, some of those take a little bit more skill than others. So maybe keep that in mind, just making sure that your wellness is inclusive. Not everyone is able-bodied. So maybe having like a meditation session where it doesn't require, standing or moving. So
For sure.
I'd say get creative with your wellness activities.
Yeah, I like that. And I like the like engagement factor, but too, like you mentioned, the skateboard. I think that can be really fun too. Like I know because I'm a big NBA fan, that last year they had the NBA All-Star Weekend in Indianapolis, and they had set up like a huge, like an NBA sized court at the Indianapolis airport, and you could like go play basketball on like a regulation basketball court. Like, how fun is that?
That's
so
awesome.
cool.
Yeah. So very, very engaging. But yeah, I think there's a lot of cool stuff. I love the pickleball idea though.
Yeah.
It's everywhere right now too.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
This one I think is kind of fun. Late night or after hours entertainment. Take it or leave it.
I could start on this one. I'm going to say definitely take it. I think, especially for attendees who are traveling alone, you don't always know what to do with yourself after the event. At the Content Marketing World that I went to, they had dinner sign-ups. So if you were traveling alone or with a group, it didn't really matter. You could sign up to be a part of a group that had dinner reservations at a specific restaurant. So you never have to be alone or, sitting in your hotel room wondering what to do with yourself after the conference. So that was a really cool engagement activity. And also it's just really fun to have after hours, happy hours at maybe a different venue in the city. At that event, they did like a really cool happy hour at this different venue, and it was like a rooftop venue, and it was open air. So it was really nice to be able to enjoy California from like a different perspective.
Yeah,
Cool.
for sure. I love that. I love the idea of doing like the meal groups because that would like, otherwise I feel like I just end up like sitting in my hotel alone.
Yeah, definitely. That's no fun, right?
Yeah,
Oh.
That's a fun idea for sure. What's your take?
I would absolutely take it.
Yeah.
I feel like some of my best memories come and my best connections come from those events. Like I think back to, oh goodness, which one? What was Nelly at? Was Nelly at
Oh, you went?
Connect?
I remember you saw Lil Jon.
Little John.
Oh,
This
yeah,
past
that one
year
was
I've
cool.
seen Little John, Nelly, and just from like connecting with my coworkers on that level, as
Mhm.
well as then like randomly you run into a customer and then you're jamming.
Yeah.
out with
Yeah,
your
heck
friends.
yeah, that's
Like,
awesome.
yeah, like that's an experience that like you wouldn't normally have, and
Mhm.
it's just again, it's that different connection, right? So it's just a
For
different
sure.
place, a little bit more myself, a little bit more comfortable. So I think it's a great opportunity to just to
Yeah.
bring people together in a different way. Now, I've been to some events too where like the late night is like late night, right? So it's like 9:30, 10. I'm not getting out of bed for that. Like I've already
That is so
I've gone to
valid.
bed.
Yeah.
That's true.
So I think it depends. Like if you've had a lull for some of
Mhm.
those attendees between me, but if it's been consistent, I think absolutely. I love your
Yeah.
idea of like the preset like meetings. You know, even like
Mhm.
help drive those connections. So like if someone's not invited to a dinner, you know, set up something so like, hey, you know, we're sponsoring or you know, go to
Mhm.
XYZ restaurant at whatever time
Yeah.
and you can
I've
all eat
done-
together.
For sure. We've done a couple, well, I think SEMrush when we were in Boston for Inbound a couple years ago. SEMrush, we're SEMrush customers, and they had a rooftop happy hour that was
Exclusive.
and that was kind of fun to
that
go
was really
to.
fun.
A good way to like interact with your customers, especially when you know like they're all going to
Mhm.
be in one place at the same time. And then this past year we went and Guru had invited us to this isn't sponsored by Guru, I can't keep talking about them. But that was really cool too. We went to like a Formula racing like arcade bar, which was really sweet.
Oh,
Like
sweet.
it's like driving arcade, like an arcade game, but it's like
Oh,
you really
fun.
feel
Yeah,
like the vibrations of
awesome.
the car. It was really cool. I was
Oh.
very bad at it.
That reminds me, I went to a cool conference last year. It was the Teams conference. It's a sports conference. And something really cool that they did is they had an after hours event. It was kind of like a live band playing and free food. And it was at an airport hangar, which sounds
Oh,
like really,
that's cool.
yeah, really unique and interesting. But it was an event venue that you could also rent if you were
Mhm.
having a
Right.
large, gathering or a wedding. But I just thought that was really cool as like a unique, interesting, unexpected venue. And I remember it to today.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for
So-
sure.
Have fun with it.
Yeah. One thing I will say is like some late night entertainment is like a little bit harder to like nail down in terms of like your audience. Like musicians, I think are a little bit easier because like
Mhm.
everyone knows at least a couple Nelly songs.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Totally.
but Inbound specifically, last year their late night entertainment was John Mulaney, a comedian, who I love. Like I personally love John Mulaney. I was so excited to see him. And I feel like he's a lot more relatable to like the millennial era of people and like slightly older and younger. But then this past year they had David Spade, who I wasn't as big of a fan of. A little like leaning more to that older generation, I think found him a little bit more funny. But it was still fun. I think comedians are still still can be super fun, but I think it's a little bit harder with comedians specifically to kind of like nail down your target audience. Like there's people who really don't like a certain type of comedy or really like a certain type of comedy. So it kind of depends, but
Wasn't there like a magician at some event?
yeah, actually
That's a cool idea.
this was I was gonna say it's Guru, but I don't think it was Guru. It was actually the Marketing Millennials
right.
virtual event, and they had I don't know how he was even doing it virtually, but like they had a magician, and then there was like 3 separate people who were all like affiliated with the event, like the different organizers and like keynote speakers. And the magician asked everyone or one person to pick from a list of like 100 celebrities, and then another person to pick from a list of 100 like activities. And then so one person picked Betty White from this list of 100 people and just randomly. And then the next person picked eating a hot dog from the second list. And then the third person had been previously mailed an envelope. And
Whoa.
so the magician, once they picked like Betty White and eating a hot dog, the magician asked the guy to open the envelope and see what was inside that he had not opened before. And he opened it up and it was just like a big picture of Betty White eating a hot dog.
Like, how did he do
Yeah,
it?
like how did he do that? I'm sure there's some secret to it, but that was very fun too. I feel like magicians could be super fun, like late night entertainment, or even
different.
even virtual event. Because I was surprised that they made it work for a virtual event. Because with magicians, it's like, oh, he's probably doing something off camera, but like that was I don't know how to explain that. That was really cool. But yeah. So our producer's telling us to wrap up. We have like more we could talk about, so we might go on to like a part 2 because we haven't talked about QR codes. Very exciting. We gotta talk about QR codes. Reverse trade shows, multi-vendor booths, events in first tier cities versus like second tier cities. So lots of fun topics to like tease, what the next episode might touch on. But yeah, we don't want to get too long-winded here. So I think we're gonna wrap things up, but I wanted to ask both of you, do you have any parting advice for event planners for 2025? Like what's like a word of wisdom that you would like to give to event planners? Meaghan, I'll start with you.
I would say, just based off of a lot of the conversations I've had with the Tag Talk blog subscribers, is don't be afraid to do something different, something unexpected. I think a lot of the time we get so comfortable with doing the same things over and over. We know it works, it's safe, it's comfortable. We work with the same exact vendors. I think attendees today want something new. They want something different. So I would recommend maybe looking at what you currently do and just making little tweaks to it. Like, for example, can you swap your event badges for a sustainable solution? Can you, instead of just having a happy hour, maybe you incorporate philanthropy in it? I know at the content marketing world, they had yappy hours. So they had adoptable dogs at the happy hour.
That's right.
People were insane about it. There was a huge turnout. So you can still have that networking experience, but also benefit a local nonprofit and help dogs find homes. So I would say don't be afraid to try something new. And even if it doesn't work out, hey, you learn something from the experience. But I think attendees are just so eager for something different that you can surprise and delight them by doing something unexpected.
For sure.
I love the adoptable dogs.
Yeah.
We had a team member who adopted a dog at one of those.
This is a true story.
Yeah.
True story.
Meaghan was there. You drove the dog home from
Yeah, it was crazy. Me and my coworker, Colleen, we were at this trade show and there was adoptable dogs there. And she, on the first day, she saw this little yellow lab and she's like, oh my God, she is so cute. Like, I love her. She even, called her husband that night and she's like, can I bring him home? And her husband was like, no, we're not doing that. We don't need a dog. But she kept working on him. And the next day, we might have not really asked permission, just asked forgiveness. We're going to, adopt this dog and take it home. And it turns out the whole family loves the dog. So she found a really great home with Colleen.
What a fun story.
Like, Molly.
Yeah. We love Molly. I love that advice. You never know. One of your attendees might leave with a dog.
Yep.
That's great. Or one of your exhibitors.
Yeah, never know.
It depends.
Yeah.
What about you, man?
I think I'm seeing more and more trend around sustainability, and I go down this road too after coming off of our sales kickoff, and our director of operations, Thibault, gave a really informative speech, not as deep as he went with you guys, thank goodness. He's got a really different perspective on it, and I kind of took a lot away from that, and I'm trying to kind of share that with our customers too. Like, sustainability is absolutely achievable. Like you said, our ribbons are biodegradable. We've got badge options. I don't want anyone to think that sustainability is out of touch. I feel like so many people quickly think they can't afford it or quickly think it's not an option for that event. It really is, especially when it comes, to name tags and the products that we offer, obviously. It's absolutely a solution, and there's ways to do it within budget, and there's ways to do it that work. And scream about it. Like, I don't think planners scream about it enough. Like, the work that they do is never communicated enough. Like, all the thought they put into things and all of the thought that goes into every little piece of what they do, like, scream about it so your attendees know.
I agree.
Cool brand story to be able to say, hey, these badges are completely biodegradable or recyclable. I think that says a lot about your brand and who you are and what you value, and I would take advantage of that.
Yeah,
for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, hoping we can get Thibault on a podcast episode. Yeah. He loves talking about sustainability.
Yes, he does.
Knows way more than I ever even knew there was to know. So yeah. Hopefully he's listening and he'll agree to come on the podcast. Awesome. Well, my parting advice would be to get a sponsor for your restroom. So
if you have any questions, ask Brooke.
Yeah. I'll have some ideas. Some really good ideas. Awesome. Cool. Well, we're going to wrap up then. Again, we're planning on doing monthly episodes, so make sure you subscribe. We should be on all podcast platforms. If you have ideas for other trends you want us to talk about, other topic ideas for an entire episode, We want to have a email address, but we don't yet. So in the meantime, you can message PC NAMETAG on Instagram or any other platform that we're on. But yeah, connect with us. Let us know. We're all on all the social medias. So we'll see you guys next time.